Alright, so we got the lower mid tier. This is when you start getting the characters that, honestly, you can order a lot of this lower mid tier anyway, and I think it makes sense. You can just put a lot of those lower mid tier characters in the upper mid tier, and that'd be fine. And I know a lot of people are going to look at this and go, there's no way the character's this low. So what I say is that most of these characters actually have pretty good tools overall. They're all like pretty solid characters. They're mostly just outclassed for some reason or another. So let's get right into it. Also, I think ordering this tier in particular is very difficult for me. So starting off Link. Link is a character that's just fallen more and more as Ultimate's gotten older. And he has big hitbox. He hits pretty hard. His zoning tools are pretty annoying. But I think what's happened is that you can't be a slow character with poor frame data, the way Link is, and not have like some ridiculous like over centralizing like button or mechanic to make up for it. And like Link is a character where it's like all his attacks are decent, but there's no like a broken thing about him, you know? So he gets the job done, but he's also generally outclassed, especially by fast characters or characters with more range than him. Alright, WeFit. WeFit, interesting character. Really good up close, because like her frame data, especially deep breathing's nice. Her projectile game can be really obnoxious. She's very good off stage stalling. And she has good combos. But it's like because she has like no disjoint, even like her hitboxes, like minus the lack of disjoint, just the fact that hitboxes aren't big really hurts her nowadays when like so many characters have disjoints and projectiles and stuff, right? She like is constantly moving around the opponent's attacks, and sometimes you just can't find opening with her. So yeah, she can definitely just outplay people, especially if you hit like good parries. She can get openings off like good parries and blow people up. But then there's characters that do that much better than her. So she's just whatever. I know people are gonna yell at me for this Inkling placement. So what I'm gonna say about this character is that this character has always been overrated. Well, no, this character, after the initial nerf to side B, been very overrated, right? Back air is a great move. Character is very mobile, sure. But the combos in this character don't do enough damage. The kill confirm, if you know how to play around up throw up air and like some basic like, oh boy, getting caught in the tech chases at certain percents, this character really struggles to get kills or even high damage. Add into the fact that this character doesn't have a great way around projectiles, can't juggle that well because like their like up air isn't that great, up tilt isn't that good, etc. And I find that this character doesn't really rack up the damage. Like this character's hard to hit, but when you need to hold advantage state, this character feels really weak at doing that, and this character gets out-traded a lot due to not the best damage output and really struggling to kill. And I think especially struggling to kill is the main thing I want to focus on. Because in Ultimate, with so many like heavier characters that kill very early and abuse rage, giving your opponent rage consistently before killing is rough. So add that to the fact that Inkling's neutral is like not the best at actually hitting people, just good at being hard to hit. And I don't think this character is better on paper than in practice. Alright, Meta Knight. This character is super polarizing, because characters Meta Knight can like ladder are actually really good matchups for him, right? Because he hits you once and you die. The problem is, with good SDI, a lot of like combo mechanics like frame 1 bats within, all armors frame 2 whistle, and just like depending on the character, he might not be able to combo you well. And if he can't get combos going, you're left with the character that's kind of like a discount Inkling, right? Like pretty fast on the ground, has good burst options and pretty good edge guarding, I give him that. But like the neutral is so rough because it's so like this, it just run around, kind of find openings. Your buttons aren't that great, and he's slow in the air. So like even for his edge guarding and his juggling and stuff, if you like find your way around him, he has trouble chasing you. And so having a support neutral and being very, very like matchup dependent to do well does not make for a good character. But he can be a good counter pick, and I will acknowledge that. And I could see him being quite a bit higher up on the tier list than I put him here. Alright, Isabelle. She's interesting. People just think she was awful. I was one of them. And like she's not great, but I will say this, especially compared to Villager, her tilts leads to very good combos. She has like legit kill confirms with like jab down smash, jab up smash as well. Fishing rod's one of these tools that like doesn't seem that good, but it's an amazing way to punish people just jumping like around their airspace or like kind of pressing buttons mindlessly. And the fact that down B is like a very good stage control tool. And yeah, she's a character that like, unlike Villager, I feel like she has a more focused identity, which is like use her tools to like control space, get up close to you, and then like harass you with actually good frame data, good combos, and kill confirms. And honestly, the main thing holding her back is that she's really lightweight and not that mobile. Like, she's small, which is nice. She can avoid things. Her recovery's decent. But, like, man, she just dies really early. And she, like, can't get around the character like Cloud just swinging with forward air, right? Like, that's just lack of mobility. Really hurts her. But, yeah, she is good buttons. Like all these characters, she could be a little bit higher. But until I see it, I'm going to keep her here. Alright, so Toun Link. This character is interesting. He used to be decently prominent in Japan. I think, for the most part, this character's fallen off even in Japan. And the thing about him is, on paper, he's pretty good. He's fast, good projectiles, okay recovery, pretty good combo game. I think the real issue with the character, though, is he doesn't have great air-to-air tools. So, like, a lot of characters can kind of jump around, swing aerials to outrange him. Also, like, dealing with his projectiles is not too hard, just, like, shield a lot and respect them. And then he doesn't have great way to open you up. Like, his grab game isn't that strong. Unless it's, like, a following up air, he doesn't really have great, like, rising, like, air tools that combo on good DI. I guess, like, back air can lead to stuff. But yeah, and it just seems like he's hitting you for not enough damage consistently. And good DI especially makes his combo game not super effective, along with just respecting his projectiles. So, I think the main thing is, now I'm talking about it, is he can't open you up if you're respecting his buttons enough to, like, force him to grab you. Or, like, go for so much sheer pressure that there's openings to just, like, block attack, jump out of the situation. And I think adds to the fact that his disadvantage state is exploitable. His not great hitboxes are exploitable. He is fast, but it doesn't give him enough. And he's just down here. Actually, a very well-rounded character that's very slightly undertuned. Alright, Pichu is a definition of, like, glass cannon, right? Like, even more than Mewtwo. Because I bought Pichus, and I've gotten hit once and, like, combo from, like, 0 to death, or put in disadvantage forever. And when this character hits you, it's insane. This character is also fast. This character can open you up with neutral B pressure into mobility. Like, this character has stuff. Character has great grab combos off everything, in fact. So why is this character so low? This character has to commit to any opening they want to go for. Like, they don't have hitboxes, but they're also so light. And then also, if you know, like, the combo game the Pichu player wants to go for, you can kind of play around certain combo moves. And if this character is just doing straight hits and not getting combos and kill confirms, this character is gonna lose. This character needs to hit their combos and kill confirms. So, and the fact that they're committing to every approach, dying really early, and even just damaging themselves to get in. And you have this character that, like, when this character is going, this character is scary, sure. But this character is too inconsistent to be any higher, in my opinion. Especially in a game with so many characters hitting so hard or having such big hitboxes. While also having really good combo games as well. Alright, DK. DK, yeah, he's a rough character. I will say, DK is pretty good versus, like, swordy characters in particular, and that's a nice niche to have. The problem is, he's not good versus most of the roster. Like, he's not good versus combo characters, not good versus, like, these close-range grappler characters, I feel like. Not very great versus zoners. He's just this big target that relies on, like, hitboxes and speed. But because he's so big, he's gonna take a lot of damage getting in. Which, he's heavy, he's fine, he can take the damage. But his disadvantage is so bad. Like, not even just the fact that he's comboed. He can't land well, he's really easy to ledge trap, and his recovery is really bad. So, like, he doesn't get to exploit his weight enough, mostly because his recovery is so bad. And I think that holds him back more than anything else in a game where people are progressively getting better at their combos. Alright, Mii Gunner. Mii Gunner is weird. I feel it's weird putting Mii Gunner here, but besides Captain Sita, I don't really see this character do anything. Like, this character is very annoying. This character is really annoying. And if your character isn't one of those, like, hyper-mobile characters just able to run around, like, linear projectile hitboxes, Mii Gunner is obnoxious. Mii Gunner's ledge trapping is also toxic. With that said, Mii Gunner is really hurt by the fact there's so many hyper-mobile characters that are very strong. And I don't think Mii Gunner's combo game is particularly strong, and it's hard to be a very good character nowadays if your combo game especially isn't that good. Especially because there's so many characters that can, like, kind of, like, just recover super high and escape ledge trap situations, or have a lot of ledge mix-ups or whatever. So yeah, Mii Gunner might be higher. I haven't seen a lot of this character, but I think this character just isn't lethal enough in today's meta. Alright, the pits. These characters are actually considered pretty good in Japan. When I went to Japan, I fought a lot of pits, more than you'd expect. And this character is so close to being really good. So close. This character is kind of like Me Gunner in a way, where it's like, or Toun Link, where it's like this character has a good kit overall, like good buttons, decent enough mobility, multiple jumps is very nice. Their arrows are pretty good, especially I like Pit's arrows a lot. They're really good. Multi hits are really useful. Has some good combos actually. I should like emphasize very good combos, including kill confirms. With that said, this character doesn't do enough when they hit you, right? Like their kill confirms are like, oh, you're at 100, like down throw bear maybe, or like 120, 30, like up tilt up bear. You know, maybe like some like 0 to like 40, 0 to 50 like combos on like down throw and other things. So it's all decent, but they don't have enough ways to kill you super early, nor are they putting on insane damage to get you to those like kill percents easily enough. Especially when you start getting the higher percents, and like a lot of their non-drag down combos don't really work well. It's rough. This character is really close to being really good, and there is no particular like exploitable flaw about them. They just are slightly undertuned. If anything, maybe their neutral is a bit bad when it comes to approaching very defensive characters like Diddy Kong and Samus, because they're slow in the air and they don't have like oppressive hitboxes. But I don't think that's what holds them back. But yeah, that is the lower mid tier. You know, a lot of these characters once again could be like upper mid tier, even high tier depending on the person. And a lot of these characters, especially in my mind, are characters that like after 5 years in Ultimate aren't proving themselves enough to be any higher up than they are. Alright, now we're into upper mid tier. This is when we start getting the characters where I think most of them, not only like in theory have good stuff, but in practice have at least one player that has pushed this character and may still be pushing this character to get decent results, that I'm like, yeah, like the theory of why this character is strong makes sense. So this is also the biggest tier because it's still a lot of characters that like aren't super strong or have some very exploitable weaknesses. But yeah, let's get into it. Upper mid tier. Puff is probably the most polarizing character in this area, to be honest. The matchups where she can like get one hit and edge guard, she's insane in. She's very fast in the air, of course, hard to edge guard, and like she's really scary. Like when base mage hits you, bro, between edge guards and rest combos, you can die. But the problem is always, you know, she has to jump to get in, and when you jump, you can't shield. And not being able to shield versus all these sword hitboxes or just generally big attacks everyone has, while also being very light, means she'll jump in and sometimes just guess wrong and take a lot of damage and die early. So very high risk, high reward character, but there's enough matchups like Min, for example, that's really good for her due to her polarizing nature that she's up here. Alright, Marth. I'm gonna keep it real. I put Marth here because he's a worse version of Lucina. His main thing is that, like, you know, his tipper stuff is really good. If you can hit like delay tipper like side Bs, it's actually pretty good for killing. And like in general, if you can space his stuff, he has the same strengths as Lucina, right? Nice hitboxes, good frame data, just generally strong advantage state, and like the neutral is pretty good. Not very like opening people up, but good at being hard to hit. With that said, the inconsistency of tippers is what holds this character back a lot. I can see his character honestly being a lot higher, but at the same time, why play his character? You can play Lucina. Always been the thing. Falcon. Falcon is probably one of the biggest drops on my list since the last one. This character, in my mind, doesn't do anything worth playing him for, right? Because, you know, he's fast. His really bad dash back does hurt him off from moving around characters. He's like vulnerable. He's trying to like mix you up with just back and forth movement. When he wants to approach you, he has to commit pretty hard to his jump ins or his dash ins, side Bs, whatever. And that high commitment playstyle doesn't work as people learn how to play very safe and still get combos going. He doesn't have great hitboxes. His frame data honestly isn't that great. Obviously, his recovery is always meant to be like very exploitable, and it is in this game. So just having a poor disadvantage state. Like, his main strength is he is fast. If he guesses right, he can open you up, and he has pretty good combos. Although good SDI will save you from a lot of like the worst of them. He has good combos, and he has good potential to kill you, right? So if it hits you, it's scary, and he's hard to hit. So he's alright, but at the same time, I think when your main strength is just like decent combos and fast, that doesn't do anything nowadays compared to a lot of the characters. So he just stays firmly in upper mid tier. I don't see him dropping lower than this though. Alright, Crom. Crom is recovery. That's it, right? Like he's great otherwise. Buttons, mobility, combos. It's kind of like Falcon though, where it's like if your main thing is, actually I shouldn't say that, because his sword buttons are so big. But man, his recovery is like too exploitable. Too many characters have very safe ways to kill him off stage. And in Ultimate, you can't have that. I feel like a lot of the good characters in Ultimate have very safe disadvantage states and have good edge guarding. So he's definitely not great nowadays. Like a lot of Glass Cannon characters though, you can like win the neutral and just like not get put into bad spots often. This character will feel very strong. So if you're a better player than your opponent, you can play this character. You just can't be the same level as your opponent or worse, or you're just gonna die. Bowser is, I feel like at not top levels of play, especially, Bowser is pretty good. When you hit higher and higher levels of play, and the average level of play is rising over time, of course, what happens with Bowser is that he doesn't have the highest ceiling. I don't think he has like the most like advanced combo routes, setups, or anything. He's a very simple character, right? And we've kind of hit a point where it's like if your character is not getting better, your character is just getting worse. And he's combo food, right? His frame data isn't great. He's pretty easy to keep in disadvantage with his juggling, ledge trapping, edge guarding. And even his neutral, like, his neutral is high commitment because he has not the best frame data. It's like he jumps to you, you block an attack, you might be able to punish him, right? Or you might just be able to catch him before his attack comes out. Especially because he's such a big target. So yeah, he's a simple character, does well at lower levels, falls off at higher levels, mostly because I don't think like he can keep up with how much everyone has like improved their like on hit state. Ken is a character that I think actually mostly struggles with the fact that like he gets lamed out. Because this character, if he hits you, you're dying or taking a lot of damage. It's really scary. The problem is, he's one of those characters where it's like all of his strength is built around if he hits you. So characters that can play really lame, like Sonic or Game Watch or Steve, Rosa, and just kind of like run circles around him, he doesn't have the mobility to catch them. His Fireball isn't going to like force approaches well either. And his hitboxes aren't that good, so like he can't even like challenge people that well. Also, I think focus as a mechanic has fallen off because a lot of characters have really good multi-hit tools to punish it, or just like buttons they can mash safely versus focus when he's trying to land. So his disadvantage state's pretty poor. Now I will say, Jazzle does work with this character, right? Like good parries get you openings, get a lot of damage. But when you're reliant on like just good like movement and parries to get in, that is not used. That's not great nowadays. I think Luigi's very similar to Ken. The main thing Luigi has over Ken, I think, though, is that Luigi has a bit of a better recovery, probably. Generally, because Luigi jumps really high, he's able to challenge people trying to play lane versus him a bit more. And I think Fireball and his Zair let him control mid-range very well. With this said, poor hitboxes, generally poor disadvantage state, has to get in, and by that nature, like, he's taking risks getting in. So, yeah, Young Link is one of the most overrated characters in Ultimate. Sure, if it hits you, he's insane on hit, right? He's a character like Crom. But like Crom, if he gets hit, his disadvantage state's super exploitable. He's slow, falls fast, not great recovery distance. His hitboxes aren't exactly big either, so he can't challenge things. This is especially important when he's trying to land from disadvantage with his poor air stats. It also means in neutral though, he gets outbunned a lot. And finally, if your character has an answer for like his neutral B, his arrows, I think his entire kit kind of falls apart, because he relies a lot on that to get openings for his combos. So, yeah, like, on the offense is good. He does have good frame data to pressure you, and his combos are insane, his drag downs are really good. Like, he has a lot of potential when he hits you. You just can't make mistakes versus him. And you rely on opening people up, which, I will keep saying this, the really good characters in this game are really good at playing safe and waiting for openings, or like kind of exerting pressure passively. And he has to force the openings. All right, Incineroar. Another one of these characters where if he's up close, he hurts you, right? His trouble is getting up close. However, unlike like Luigi or Ken, his recovery is actually pretty decent. He has mix-ups. It's not objectively like decent on paper, but he doesn't have mix-ups with the order of using side yuppie, the spacings, all these things. The fact that if you mess up, you can die, and that's very scary. Also, I think his down B is such an amazing tool. And like, sure, that's obvious, right? You know, it gives him his buffs, which makes his attacks do insane damage, insane shield pressure, especially neutral B, whatever. But like, also means when you're juggling him, you have to respect potential down B. It gives him built-in mix-ups. Even in neutral, you have to respect that move. And if he down B something, oof. If you're a projectile-heavy character, spacing heavy character, spamming those tools on him, he gets down B, oof. And then like, he's not that big for heavyweight, so he's not the easiest character to combo. He's not this massive target. And then he has insane buttons up close. Like, honestly, he's a really solid character for the most part. I think his issue is when you fight, like, the really good lame characters, like Sonic, Game Watch, Steve. The fact that, like, he's so slow means it's almost checkmate in some matchups. So, it's a bit of a polarizing character, and I think he's a bit unlucky that a lot of the very good characters are, like, these lamer, super safe characters that keep him out. Alright, Hero. Hero is interesting, because his entire thing is he exerts pressure consistently by getting buffs, right? Like, optimal Hero is basically fish for buffs, plays safe with sword spacing and some spells, and then when you have your buffs, your normal attacks are really scary. The problem is characters that are able to harass him from getting buffs are problems, like super fast characters, right? Or characters with like good space normals. But he is good versus projectile characters because of bounce, right? He's also mobile enough for the Incineroar to get around a lot of things. He has these big hitboxes. He's not even that lightweight. He hits pretty hard. I will say he lacks great combos unless you have like Accelerato. So he like hits pretty hard like with individual hits. He doesn't rack up damage because his combos aren't great. He also doesn't have like great kill confirms really. So you're kind of relying on stray hits to kill, and I think that's not reliable. So he's pretty good. Especially because like you always have the pressure of getting buffs and then menu mind games, and that's very strong. I just think he doesn't have reliable enough kill confirms nor reliable enough damage output to put him any higher. Alright, Greninja. Greninja is so close to being such a good character, right? Since Ultimate came out, we knew this. He's super good, in theory. In practice, if his combo game was a little bit more generous, right? Because a lot of his combo windows are pretty specific. If he had a bit better shield pressure, if his out shield game was a little bit better, he'd be so good. Because he's super hard to hit, he has decent spacing tools, he has good whiff punishes, Shuriken's annoying. His recovery is exploitable, but he has mix-ups. But I think at the end of the day, what happens is Greninja is always like predictable. And a lot of times you can kind of block his pressure, shrug it off. And then when you hit his shield, unless he's parrying, he can't do much about it, right? So he isn't really good at like what makes good characters in Ultimate good. And I think especially like the combo windows for like a lot of kill confirms being pretty tight, especially on good DI, really hurts him in conjunction with the rest of these things. But we see Tarek doing well with the character. This character has like always been doing well, and that's because this character is good. Just has never shown me a reason to be like better than just good. Honestly, I think I should put Luigi a little bit higher. I think I should put him at least like here. I think he's decently better than Ken. But I will also say in my mind, I think there's like a gap after Ken and the rest of this tier. Okay, Duck Hunt. I'm going to say this right now. I think Duck Hunt might be very underrated. I think this character might actually be really strong. We just haven't seen it. But like, I've seen a little bit of it with like shades of like big Duck Hunt fan beating Tweak at that, I think it was Thamo, right? I think there is Fawn in New York as well, Duck Hunt. So this character has results. And the thing with this character is, this character controls so much space super safely, right? Gunman, Can, Side B, like so much space control. Also small character, pretty good hitboxes, not like insane, but like especially about the space control from the projectiles, it's really hard to approach this character. This character is constantly applying pressure. You block, they can lock you and shield grab you. You jump, good enough anti-airs, or run underneath the platform and stop your approach. Add in a good combo game with like down throw up airs, especially with platforms. Side B can lead to a lot of stuff. Can lead to a lot of advantageous positions. Good ledge trapping. And this character is honestly really good. My main reason I don't put this character higher is I haven't seen all this stuff come together for like big runs from like Duck Hunt players consistently. And I think that's because this character, like, when you start getting outside of combo windows, this character does low damage. So it can be rough to get kills with this character, especially if people escape the kill confirm windows. Mobile characters can kind of move around like their stage control, and that's a bit annoying, especially big hitboxes can like overwhelm this character at like aerial range. And the recovery can be a bit exploitable. You can honestly like use the character's mechanics against him a little bit. Like you can use Can against Duck Hunt. Gunman is interesting where it's good, but if you know the matchup, you know what each Gunman does, like in terms of the timing of the attack and even the range. And it's like there's a lot of matchup knowledge that needs to be developed against this character as well. So I'm hesitant to put him any higher than here, but I will note I could see it happen. I could see his character easily being high tier. Icy. We've seen Big D do well with this character, and this character is, for a lot of characters, Ice Climber is like one of their worst matchups, right? Like close range characters like Mario, Luigi, Fox hate ices. So that's really good for the character. The problem is, if your character is not a close range character, they probably beat Ice Climbers. And I keep saying this, a lot of great characters nowadays are really like good, safe defensive characters with big hitboxes, projectiles, or just like really good mobility. And then Icy's super slow. Also, people do not edge guard Nana enough. It's actually super easy to throw off Ice Climbers and just edge guard. No, not Nana, Popo. Like, it's really easy to throw off Ice Climbers and edge guard them if you know what you're doing, and that's a big deal. And we've seen Big D struggling with this character as people learn the matchup. So I feel like he had like a good like run for a bit, but until I see Big D like doing well, I don't think this character has the staying power needed, just due to the poor mobility and how exploitable the AI is when like the AI just messes up or gets separated from the player. But, and having a repolarizing matchup spread is a good and bad thing. But luckily, like, they're so strong up close that they can kind of make up for the shortcomings of being very slow in close range. Alright, Sheik. This is like a potential character, right? Like, people keep saying, oh, this character's so good. I lost to Sheik in Japan named Aim. This character, when the player is playing really good, feels unstoppable. The problem is, people are going to make mistakes. Sheik does not have to make many mistakes, but like, because of how little damage she's doing, like, you're going to leave yourself open to all mistakes a lot by just the fact that you hit the opponent a lot. Also, I should mention, even just like dropping your combos, like missing like your combo windows for like kill confirms really hurts this character, right? So you can't make mistakes on your offense either, otherwise people live super long. And sometimes just someone living at 200% at once might be all you need to like trade hits with Sheik, kill her early, and then get a huge lead. So that precise execution and inconsistency, along with the fact that she doesn't have a lot of range on her attacks, she trades pretty poorly, is enough to keep her here. But like, honestly, if like you had a player that like didn't mess things up at all, like consistently hit their kill confirms, didn't like just randomly like get hit by something they shouldn't, she could honestly be top tier. I could see it. I just think human error is something you have to account for with a character like this. And yeah, that is the upper mid tier, guys. We're over like pretty much halfway through the tier list. Woo! And I'll see you for the next part.